out smooth.
Okay, here we're live at Laurel Lanes, PA North Division. Today we have Bristol Invasion, which is the #1 team in the division. They're up by over top of Chosen Ones by 1 point with 199 pins. This is tour stop number 9 versus Coalition. Currently they're in the 6th place position, about 52 points out of 3rd and final spot for the playoffs. So they have a lot of work to do. This could be a very interesting matchup. Today on the scratch pair, we have Mr. John Ramos, who averages 230, Mr. Joe Valeri, who averages 222, and Mr. Michael Oakes, who averages 240, versus Corey Williams, who averages 233, Brian Cherry, one of my favorite fellas, averaging 226, and Mr. Eric Norfleet averaging 224. Once again, we're at Laurel Lanes. This is going to be an outstanding matchup here today, which could have some playoff implications in terms of seeding. Coalition is trying to get their season. They beat the team who won the division last year, South Jersey Strike Force, 32-8 last tour stop. So let's see if they can be spoilers or climb themselves back into the playoff contention by potentially defeating Bristol Invasion. Bristol Invasion is a strong team from top to bottom, very competitive. And so now we're going to actually see here with Mr. Corey Williams with the leadoff for Coalition. Let's see if he can set the tone. And Corey comes out with a strike there. He'll be followed by Mr. Brian Cherry. And cleanup man will be, once again, Mr. Eric Norfleet. I don't know what Bristol Invasion is doing, but they're not even up at the line yet. And we're still waiting for Bristol Invasion to start. Mr. John Ramos is standing right there. He's a very good, talented lefty there. One of my favorite peoples. Let's see how he sets the tone. In bowling, your leadoff man is the one that sets the tone. Your middle man is your glue man. Let's see what Mr. Cherry does. He throws a strike. Okay, so 2 strikes for Bristol Invasion on the scratch pair. And Mr. John Ramos is going up for Bristol Invasion. And John Ramos starts off with a split. Oh, this is not the beginning that I'm sure that he was looking for. John Ramos is a very talented bowler, so let's see how he does. Okay, Mr. Eric Norfleet is up for Coalition here. Let's see how he throws his ball. He keeps the ball around 10, back into the pocket, and he throws a strike. So currently, Coalition has started off hot from the very beginning. All 3 bowlers throwing strikes. And Mr. Ramos gets the 2 left on the left side there. So let's see what Mr. Joe Valeri does. His nickname is Daddy's here. Lord have mercy. Let's see if he bowls like a daddy. Okay, gets a strike there. Wasn't the prettiest strike, but I'm sure Joe Valerio will take it. Nice start off for Joe Valerio. And here we have Mr. Michael Oates, a.k.a. Rook. He must be the rookie of the team, so let's see what he does here with a 240 average. Must be a new strategy, make the other team wait. And okay, Mr. Mike Oates looks good. It looks like a two-handed bowler, came through with the ball, throws a strike on his first ball. So right now, it's still early, of course, not how you start, but how you finish. Mr. Corey Williams is up again. He goes right into it. And he throws a double strike. He has a double going here. So it looks like Coalition on the scratch pair is trying to apply pressure from the very beginning. And they can do that. They have a very talented team on the scratch pair here, represented them today. I've watched them in league. They have very good skill set. And there's no telling from the very beginning. They're going to have to jump on Bristol Invasion because Bristol Invasion, I always say, they're in the lead for a reason. They're leading the division for a reason. Okay. Right now, Zaddy Ramos is up, a.k.a. John Ramos. Let's see if he can get back on track. Get on track, rather. Keeps the speed up. Okay, leads the 10-pin. Still came out the ball pretty good. Looks like his ball went a little bit past the head pin. But he's on the left side, looks like by himself, so he may have that kind of issue. Brian Cherry throws his second ball, and he throws a strike. So now you have the leadoff and the middleman for Coalition on the scratch pair has two strikes. Let's see if Mr. Eric Boyer can actually complete that. Mr. Eric Norfleet can actually complete that. That comment was made, unfortunately, by a representative of the chosen ones. And unfortunately, he should be rooting for Coalition because if they actually do what they're supposed to do, that'll put Coalition back in lead if they happen to win their match. So that comment was unwarranted, but hey, what can you say? All right, Eric Norfleet gets a 9 count, leaves a 6-pin. See if he can pick that up. Shouldn't be a problem. Joe Valerio comes back. He doubles up on his strike. Okay. It's early. Everybody's trying to get the nerves out. Then when they begin to start bowling, it's going to really tell the tale. Where's the real talent at? All right, Norfleet picks up the 6-pin. And let's see what Mr. Michael Oates does, a.k.a. Rook. Two-handed bowler, releases his ball, went a little bit far out, but he leaves one more pin up. He went too far out. Ball had to come back, came back in the wrong way. Sometimes you have a lot of exuberance and a lot of energy in the beginning of the game. You got to always control yourself. You should breathe a couple of times if you need to. That's how important now in the season. This is tour stop 9. They have 13 tour stops throughout the season, so it's going to be very interesting to see how everything plays out. And he picks up the single pin. One of the mindsets that will be very good to have when you're bowling in the UBA is to try to beat your man across from you and try to beat him bad so that you give your team an opportunity to actually take totals on your pair. So it's always important to have a good communication between you and your teammate. Corey Williams is up, stole his strike. Okay, he went around the corner. He didn't get his arm up, didn't follow through. Then get out to the right, and his ball came across early. That's a makeable spare. You have to throw it on a slant so it come back in between. He has a mother-in-law behind that one pin, so let's see if he can pick that up. Sometimes rushing and not taking time can have a devastating effect. John Ramos is up. Let's see if John Ramos can throw a strike here. And he still can't throw a strike there, but he does look good entering that pocket. Corey Williams throws the ball, does not pick up the spare, so he has an open in the third frame for Corey Williams. But he has a very consistent, strong bowler in Mr. Brian Cherry coming up the bowl in this tour stop match here. He's the glue man. His job is to keep the whole team together, even if someone falls apart. Even though your strongest bowlers are your first and last bowler, does not mean anything in the UBA. Everybody has to be good. See if John Ramos picks this up. And he does with no problem. So John Ramos has yet to throw a strike, but that doesn't mean that he can't. Joe Valero, just like Brian Cherry, is holding the team together because he's on. Let's see if he can pick up 3 in a row, get a turkey here. But Brian Cherry says, let me try it first. John Perry throws the ball, and he put a whole lot of hand in that ball. That ball came back violently back to the pocket. Looks like he left the eight pin. He shouldn't have any problem picking that up. Let's see if Joe Valera can get his team, pull him back up in the game. And he throws a strike. So Joe Valera right now is the only one that's on 300 pace. I know it's early, but still he has a perfect game rolling. And Brian Cherry picks his spare up. Let's see if Eric Norfleet can throw a strike for a Coalition to finish this frame here. Hey, Michael Oakes is up. Mr. Two-Hander throws his ball. All right. Keeps it inside a little bit better. Ooh, he almost went from a 7-10 split to just leaving the 7-pin. So it looks like he's having a little difficulty here in the beginning of this match. Let's see if Mr. Norfleet can actually throw a strike here and keep putting more pressure on Bristol Invasion. And he does not throw where he wants to. But at least he once again leaves it, looks like here, the 9-pin. I mean the 8-pin, I'm sorry. No, that was a 9-pin, I'm sorry. So let's see if he can pick this up. Mr. Oakes picks up his spare. Sometimes you want to jump on a team and just put even more pressure on them early on. You want to set the tone and let them know, hey, this is how it's going to go throughout the rest of the match. Eric Norfleet to pick this up. Uh-oh, he threw it right in the thing. He didn't follow through. Ball went right into the gutter. Mr. Norfleet is not known to do those kind of things, so let's see if he can get back on track. He's one of the bowlers that a lot of bowlers in this Philadelphia area look up to because of his consistency and his level of competitiveness. All right, Corey Williams throws his ball in the 4th frame. He throws a strike. He brings his hand straight up, follows through nicely. Okay, let's see if John Ramos can actually throw a strike in this game, get into the game. He's been coming out the ball pretty good. He just has to, I think he needs a stronger ball, but it doesn't matter what I think. And he throws his 3rd strike in the game. All right, maybe he just had to settle down. Okay, sometimes John Ramos, once he gets striking, he may not stop striking. Let's see if Mr. Brian Cherry can get back to his strike game. Remember, it's always important to beat the man at least across from you. Brian Cherry throws the ball, keeps the ball inside, and throws the strike. Can't argue with that, but there's a potential for him to actually, if he makes one slight mistake, he possibly could get a split. All right, let's see with Mr. Eric Norfleet. We have Joe Valera. See if he can keep on his strike game. He has 3 in a row. He's in the 4th frame. Let's see if he can throw his fourth strike. Ball's out nicely, comes back, and he gets a 4th strike. Wasn't the prettiest strike, but hey, that's all that matters. You get 4 in a row. Eric Norfleet studies. He's throwing the ball a little bit more than he followed through on that, and that's a definite strike. Let's see if Mr. Oaks can match that strike, or does he throw another 9 count? Throws it out, comes back, and he throws a strike there. So it looks like closely that Mr. Brian Cherry and Mr. Oaks are playing close to each other's line. So it's going to see how their performance is affected throughout the rest of the game. Corey Williams is up, throws the ball out, comes back nicely and throws his strike. That's 2 in a row. If it wasn't for the fact that he had that split where he brought his hand across his body, Mr. Corey Williams would actually be bowling a 300 game. All right, John Ramos, let's see if he can throw 2 in a row. If he throws 2 in a row here, that means that he's figured it out. Okay, maybe not. Spares keep you in the game, strikes win games. Let's see if Mr. Cherry can strike here. Cherry goes out, come back, kills the pocket. Once again, Mr. Cherry and Mr. Oaks are playing similar lines, and they both throw hard. So now the question becomes, who's going to blink? John Ramos throw, it looked like he should pick up the spare. He does. Joe Valera is actually working on a perfect game right now, going into the 5th frame. Doesn't seem like he's bothered by anything. He's having fun in the background, which you're supposed to. You got to remain loose. So let's see if he throws a strike here. Mr. Eric Norfleet is waiting on him. Joe step up, say, okay, I'll go. Everybody get all their pleasantries out. Joe studies the lane. Puts a little extra on the shot, and he has 5 in a row. Looks like Joe came to bowl today. Let's see if Mr. Eric Norfleet can finish this frame off with the strike here. Throws the ball out, comes back to the pocket, and he throws a strike. So right now, Coalition as a team, everybody from the 4th in the 5th frame has a double, which is excellent because they're trying to pull back into the lead on the scratch pair. Joe Valera is actually keeping his team in the match, even though he's working on a perfect game. They're looking for Mr. Michael Oaks to actually close the deal by him being his anchor. Let's see if he throws a strike here. Okay, Mr. Mike Oaks does actually throw a strike here. So that's 2 strikes in a row. Right now, the only person who hasn't struck in the 5th frame is actually John Ramos, unfortunately. Corey Williams throws another strike, starting it off in the 6th frame. He has 3 in a row. He has a turkey here. Now, Coalition needs to add a little bit more pressure onto Bristol Invasion because Bristol Invasion has actually pulled ahead of them. John Ramos is up. Let's see, he only has 1 strike through 5 frames. Let's see if he throws a strike here. He throws that with a little bit more authority, and he throws a strike here. So he has a frame. He solved the issue on that pair on the eighth lane. But let's see what he does now. Joe Valeri's on a 300 pace right now. He's through 5 frames. He threw 5 strikes. Let's see if he can throw a 6th. Brian Cherry said, look, I only made 1 mistake. I brought my hand across my body. But let me see if I can't actually throw 3 strikes in a row. And Brian Cherry throws 3 in a row. And Joe Valeri throws 6 in a row. Joe Valeri's keeping Bristol Invasion in the match, which he's supposed to do. But unfortunately, right now, it looks like Coalition is going on a tear right now. They're only down by 15 points, leading with their anchor man. Let's see which person who blinks going forward. Right now, Mr. Michael Oakes is up. Let's see if he can throw a triple here. Put some more pressure on Coalition. He lets the ball out, comes back, and he throws a strike. They're setting tones out here. They're trying to show why they're in first place. Let's see if Mr. Eric Norfleet can actually match that effort. Let's see if he can close the deal. If he does, Coalition be going into the lead in the next frame. And, leaves his ringing 10-pin. Now, last time Eric Norfleet threw to his right, he threw it into the gutter. But let's see if he can pick up this spare pin, this 10-pin. Thank you. And he threw it into the gutter, unfortunately. So now going into the 7th frame, it's got to be trying for a team that's trying to get back and be a sporter at least. Okay, and Corey Williams leads a 4 count. They're still in this match, so anybody can actually do what they need to do in order to win. John Ramos is up. Zaddy Ramos, he just had a baby not too long ago. And he throws a strike. That's 2 in a row for John Ramos. So through 7 frames, John Ramos has 3 strikes there. Important that Corey Williams picks up this spare here. And he does. Sometimes when your teammate misses, you're trying so hard to try to make up for what they missed, keep them in the match. So let's see what Brian Cherry does. Bristol Invasion is still in this match. Let's see what Joe Valeri does here. And he leaves, unfortunately, he's off of his run here. He should be able to pick up that 8-pin with no problem. Correction, 4-pin. Brian Cherry throws his ball. He destroys them pins. Now he has 4 in a row. He keeps Coalition in the match. They're not out of this match by far. Now that Joe Valeri is off of his 300 pace game, it could be anybody's game on this scratch pair. Okay, Michael Oakes, he can actually match Brian Cherry's 4 in a row. The concern that I have for the Coalition is that, except for Brian Cherry, nobody else is on the strike going into the 8th frame. Let's see if Eric Norfleet can throw a strike here and get his team back on track. And Mr. Oakes throws 4 in a row. So this is turned out to be like a boxing match on the scratch pair. Coalition has the talent on the scratch pair to get the job done. Just have to get it done, that's all. Eric Norfleet throws his ball, looks good, and throws a strike there. He could have used that the last frame, would have been a totally different story at this point. Corey Williams throws a strike here in the 8th frame. So he's leading off. He's doing what a leadoff man does. Coalition at this point, if they're going to overtake Bristol Invasion, they're going to need Bristol Invasion to fall off a little bit off their strike game. Let's see what John Ramos does. Looks like John Ramos is locked in at this point. He's getting down low and following through. That's a bad situation right there. John Ramos come back with the mean mug face, so he looked like he's locked in at this point. Brian Cherry's a strong competitor. Let's see if he can keep it up. He's going to be the key for carrying the scratch pair at this point in the first game. Ooh, throws a split at the most inopportune time. This is what I call a setup frame for the last 3 frames of the game. He throws a split. It is makeable, but he's going to have to play it on the side, on a slant, act like he's going for the 6 pin and kick it over. Joe Valeri gets his ball out, and he's back on his strike game. So he may not have a 300 game, but he can actually still throw a high 269. Brian Cherry goes for the pickup, and he misses just a little bit outside. He threw a little bit too hard, but he's throwing still a great game. He's leading Coalition scratch pair, so at this point it's between Corey Williams and Brian Cherry in terms of their overall performance on the scratch pair. It's not easy to be out here on the scratch pair. It's very tough, so nobody's perfect. Nobody's throwing 300 games out the door. Mr. Oakes throws 5 in a row now, so Mr. Oakes has actually figured it out. Young man is very talented, as you can see. Now, this is on a house shot, but he's still bowling very well. So let's see what his team does going forward. Still got to close the deal. Eric Morphy is up, throws a good ball, come back to the pocket. He throws a strike there. He has double. So he's making it competitive. He's keeping Coalition in the game. They just had some inopportune splits. Corey Williams thought to see if he could get a double here. Woo, that pin was dancing. But it went down. Good strike. Okay, John Ramos is locked in at this point. It'd be good for Coalition if he did not strike this time. Looks like once again, John Ramos, once he gets locked in, that young fella can tear the seams off the ball here. Let's see what he can do here. Come through the ball nicely. Ooh, uh-oh. Messenger came back and said hello. So John Ramos has 4 in a row. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams perform in the second and third game. Nobody's conceded anything, nor do they have to. It's all about throwing strikes at this point. Brian Cherry goes out, come ball back. Leads the ring 10 pin, unfortunately. He got that ball a little bit too far outside and had some time to come back and went deep into the pocket. It went past, it hit the head pin and would have been past the head pin. Joe Valeri with 2 in a row after his little hiccup at that point. Brian Cherry goes to pick up the spare 10 pin, and he does. Okay, or Eric Norfleet has an opportunity here to throw a turkey. If he does, sometimes in a game, you might lose a game, but you can keep the game close in terms of total pins. And that give your team an opportunity the second and third game to get that total pin count down. And Mr. Oates, he said, no, well, we won't be having none of that. So Mr. Oates threw 6 in a row. That young fella is talented. You hear me? Laurel Lanes is not an easy house to bowl at. On this end, if you can have the potential to be more consistent than on the higher end. Eric Norfleet throws his ball, comes back, and he throws the strike. So Eric Norfleet keeps Coalition closer than what they could have. They could have been down by 100, but they're not. Corey Williams throws his first ball in the 10th frame, and he throws a strike. This is going to be interesting. There's no gimmies in this game here. Coalition may be 6 and Bristol Invasion may be first, but you still got to earn it. You still have to earn it. In Coalition, they have a bunch of very strong competitors. Corey Williams throws his second ball in the 10th frame, and unfortunately, he does not gets a strike here. So now Corey Williams go out in his first game with a 230. John Ramos, see if he can finish out with 7 in a row. Looks like he's locked in, coming through the ball nicely. Those will strike. That young fella, once he gets striking, that's it. Better call your mama. Corey Williams picks up his spare. He goes out with a 230. John Ramos, if he strikes here, he can go out with a 238. Way to recover, way to give himself an opportunity to do well in this game. So he throws another strike. So as you can see, the talent in the PA North is actually very good. The question becomes now, how do you get better? Because in the rest of the UBA, you have to be able to compete against teams down the south, up north, PA South. These are teams that are outstanding. So not saying that PA North is not a strong division, but they have a lot of untapped talent that I think that can actually do well on the big stage. Bristol Invasion right now, they're leading their division. John Ramos goes to close out, and he goes out with a 237. Not a bad start from the way that he had a split in the first frame. So you can see the potential that Bristol Invasion has just on the scratch pair alone. Coalition is on their way up. They're just not as strong as Bristol Invasion at this point in time. Brian Cherry throws a strike in his first frame, 10th frame, so that's not bad. Oftentimes, it's not how you start, but how you finish. Joe Valerio. What in the world? It was a nice ball. Had a ringing 10 pin. Unfortunately, that happens. Happens to the best of us. Depends on how fast you throw the ball. Sometimes you can throw it too fast. You'll throw the ball behind the headpin, which leaves the ring 10 pin. Let's see if Brian Cherry can, how he finishes this game here. Brian Cherry can go out with a 238, but he won't be doing that today. Throws a split. Once again, earlier, like I was mentioning, sometimes this house will not give you any room for error if you bring your hand, if you play close in the pocket so early. So Joe Valerio can go out with a 258 when he was only started out with a 300 pace. Sometimes it's about getting your mental, learning the game even more. There's all kind of things you need in order to be on the big stage. Last year, the Hitmen were in the playoffs and almost won it off of one ball, one strike. So Mr. Brian Cherry goes out 217, and Joe goes out with a 258. Those are scores that are very hard to beat when you're trying to overcome an obstacle. All right, so now at this point, Bristol Invasion wants to pour it on, and Coalition just wants to stave off the pressure of widening, allowing Bristol Invasion to run all over them. Looks like here both teams have an opportunity to stay the same distance. Let's see if Mike goes out. He throws a strike. Young fella here, two-handed, must be the way of the future here. Simeon and the legends of two-handers are actually making a major impression on the up-and-coming bowlers here in the UBA as well as all of bowling. Some may not like it. Something that you just got to deal with. Just like righties don't like seeing lefties destroy the lanes, a lot of people don't like to see the two-handed bowlers dominate. Eric Norfleet throws, he matches the energy that Mr. Oaks puts out there, so he puts 2 in a row. Eric Norfleet has 4 strikes in a row. Except for a couple of mishaps, this game could even be closer. And Mr. Oaks throws his second ball. Ooh, he's not on his strike game anymore. He can go out with a 257. So once again, Bristol Invasion's throwing some good, they're putting up good numbers. Both teams are over, all bowlers are over 200. It's just that Bristol Invasion just bowled just a little bit better. Eric Norfleet throws his second strike. So that helps to eat into their lead. Oh, and Mr. Oates, he can throw strike, but he couldn't pick up 2 pins. So he goes out with a 256. And their total for the scratch pair is 751 for Bristol Invasion. If Mr. Eric Norfleet throws another strike, Coalition could go out with a 672. Now, some people might think that that's insignificant, but if you're trying to get down the totals and you win the next 2 games, if you win it by 80, you win the pair. And Mr. Norfleet goes out with a strike here. He ends the game with a 225. So once again, it's not an easy matchup, but looks like here, Coalition actually cut into the lead that Bristol Invasion has at this moment in time. Okay, now we're going to go over to handicap 2. Bowling for Coalition will be Miss Wanda Williams, Miss Melanie Tingle, and Dr. We call him Bit, better known as Bit, but his name is Andre Gardner, versus Mr. Robert Hilgard, Dave Rubin, and Joe Pacquiano. So let's see what he does here. Procchiano, sorry. Let's see how this matchup starts. Miss Wanda Williams is up first. Miss Wanda Williams ended her game with a 211. Okay, Miss Wanda Williams starts her game off with a 180. Looks like here that they're going to have a very competitive matchup at this point in time. Okay, Melanie Tingle says she coming back for this matchup. She throws a strike. Let's see. Let's see what Mr. Robert does here. Here I have here Mr. We call him Big Tommy. Let's see what they Deep Up in You Deep in You is his nickname. But Mr. Tommy, you should be rooting for a coalition at this point because you guys are down by 1 pin. Why would you say a team stinks?
I'm not rooting for the coalition.
You ought to be because Bristol Invasion's in first place.
I'm not saying coalition stinks. I'm saying Bristol stinks.
You say that about everybody, but you need them to bowl like they stink at this point.
No, I'm talking Bristol stinks because my team didn't have me in the lineup at the last stop, and that's why we 1 point behind. They stink. They stink, and we will punish them when we see them in knockdowns.
Oh, Tommy's throwing Tommy is throwing out real daggers here today.
Daggers, not a dagger. We will punish them. We will. I'm going to personally put both. I'm going to actually kick their behind so bad it's going to be like I'm putting on a pair of pants. You know, you put both your feet in and just yank it up a pair of tight pants. I'm going to be putting my foot all in their behind.
Tommy, Big Tommy, I never heard you speak such language, sir.
And look, I'm being respectful and not cursing right now. Bull crap. You'd have heard me speak words.
Well, we want to thank Tommy for his colorful commentation today. They won all 3 pairs. Bristol, yes. What did y'all do, sir?
Won all 3 pairs.
So right now it looks like Bristol Invasion is still up by 1 in terms of totals. They have it looks like they have an easier matchup, but who are you guys bowling against today?
All in.
All in is not a pushover, so for you guys to destroy them in the first game is good. Now back to
this house, people don't understand, especially with this house, you got to get soft with your hand to carry. You can't be ripping the ball. If you rip the ball, you can count on you leaving single pins, like Dummy just did right there on 9.
We're not going to call anybody dummy, but okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, he is. Yes,
Melly Tingle's coming up for her second.
I asked him what's the square root of 1. He gonna tell me 37. Yeah.
Everybody's not a mathematician.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be. Know something.
Thank you, Tommy. Now back to the first team handicap. Ms. Wanda Williams is up. Unfortunately, Mr. Rob, he throws his first ball, leaves a single pin. Let's see if Miss No Practice can actually throw us double here. Wanda Williams throws her second ball. Ooh, she throws a split. It's not like you can't pick it up, but you really have to throw that ball on the right side of the 6 pin, going off the sheet, going off the lanes for the 10 pin in order to kick it over to get the 7 pin. So let's see what happens here. Wanda is talented enough to pick that spare up. She at least got that 6 pin airborne. It just didn't hit the 7 pin. Wanda is very talented. Let's see if let's see what happens here for Bristol Invasion. Once again, that was Dave Rubin that threw his second ball. I can really foresee, because Melanie Tingle is a very competitive bowler, and at this point, we just want to see who's actually going to start tearing it up. She throws her ball. Ball goes back to the pocket, and she leaves that ringing 10 pin. Once again, in this house, if you throw the ball not with a little bit of angle into the pocket, you're going to end up leaving single pins on the corners. Dave Rubin picks up his spare. So this game is starting out early. Now on this pair, this is the second team handicap. And what that means is that one team is getting handicapped versus another. Both teams get handicapped, but the difference is what makes it interesting. At this point on this pair, Robert, the leadoff man for Bristol Invasion, has a 210 average. Dave Rubin has a 192. And Joe has a 223 average. Versus Wanda Williams, she carries a 204. Melanie Tingle, 193. And Andre Gardner, 214. So it's pretty much close in terms of it might be a difference of maybe 8 to 10 pins. But it doesn't mean that somebody's going to just run away with the match. It's going to be very interesting to see how these teams perform going down the line. Andre Gardner has the ability to throw a very good game and lead his team. He just throws a strike. It's a jersey strike. All right, now we have here the owner of, or one of the owners of Chosen Ones, the primary owner, and he's the person that handles communications for his team. He's also one of my very good friends. Full disclosure, we went to college together, so I love him like cook food. Mr. Alphonse.
Shady Roads, get it right.
Here we go, Shady Road. That's the name he wants to go by. I know him by Alphonse. Well, go ahead, Jer. Say what you're gonna say.
Anyway, y'all put the JV match on. Y'all wanted to see the JV match. Y'all wanted to put a show on. Y'all should have had the Chosen Ones on the page. But it's all good. We're going to handle our business against all in defending North champions, whatever. They might get 40 piece. Let's put it that way. They might get 40. They might get 40.
Who might get 40, sir?
All in might get 40.
Oh, you're saying that they're going to get swept today?
Sad. If they win the game, it's going to be a miracle. Put it that way.
Somebody said, did you want to put money on that?
I don't got to put my money on, but I do have a lot of money, though. I got a whole lot of money, so don't get it confused, you know what I'm saying? I got that Amazon Bezos money. That's what I got in my pocket. Whoever wants someone to play us, come bank wide open.
You heard it from the leader of Chosen Ones. That is a fact. Back to this match. Here on the second team handicap, Miss Melanie Tingle is up. Wanda Williams had a spare, a 9 spare. Let's see if the glue person, Miss Melanie Tingle, can actually continue on what she started out with in the first frame. Right now, Bristol Invasion's up 6-0. They won on all 3 pairs. And Melanie Tingle said, I'm going to make some kind of difference here. She throws 2 strikes in the first 3 frames. Not only do you have to throw strikes, but you got to pick up your spares. So this whole series could get out of hand very quickly. Let's see if Mr. Andre Gardner on this lead on the lane to 11. See if he can throw a strike here and double up here. Very good ball. Much better than what he did the first time. First time he brought his hand across his body. This time he followed through, went right through and made a strike there. Okay, up for Bristol Invasion should be Mr. Dave Rubin, but I don't see him. I don't know if they're talking to each other. The last time he came through the ball, he got a spare. It looked like he just brought his hand across his body. So let's see what he does this time. And we're still waiting for Mr. Dave Rubin. And while we're waiting, one of the most important things about being in the UBA is the level of energy and level of competitiveness that bowlers want to be a part of. We are a family. We're UBA all day. A lot of organizations try to mimic what they see, but the level of excellence that comes through both in management as well as excitement cannot be matched. And we're still waiting for Mr. Dave Rubin. I don't know if he's hurt. We're going to go back here to the scratch pair while we're waiting on the second team handicap. Mr. Corey Williams is up. He throws the ball out, lets it come back, and he throws a strike. Coalition seems like they're putting on more of a pressure on this game here. Mr. Brian Cherry has 4 in a row. And once again, it's not how you start, but how you finish. John Ramos throws his ball. He throws the strike, so he has 2 strikes, and he at 50%. That's it. Mr. Brian Cherry can throw a strike here, make it 4 in a row. Oh! Mr. Brian Cherry tears the cover off that ball as if he's a two-handed bowler. He throws the ball hard. And Joe throws a split. Okay. So now bowling is about to begin. Normally your second game is your transition game. It's not easy unless you understand the transition. Mr. Brian Cherry picks up his spare. Looks like Mr. Eric Norfleet had a split in the third frame. Let's see if he can get back on track, because he's bowling against a very talented young fella, Mr. Michael Oakes. There's no gimme in this game. Joe Valeri, unfortunately, throws a split in his fourth frame, which puts even more pressure on his anchor man. Throw 3 in a row. Let's see if Eric Morphy can get back on track here. Nice shot. Ball come back to the pocket. He throws a strike there. Coalition is making a statement here in this second game. They say, we don't lay down for nobody. Mr. Oates throws his ball. Okay, he throws 3 in a row. So through 4 frames, right now Coalition is up by 22 sticks. 224 to 202. Even though it's early in the game, anything can happen. Once again, Mr. Corey Williams is leading off. He throws the ball out, comes back to the pocket, and he gets another strike. That's 2 in a row. Let's see what he can do going from here. Just so you know, there's no movement on, the lane is down, looks like, on lane 12. For second team handicap. Looks like John Ramos is up. Let's see if he can double here, get back on track like he was in the first game. He went from throwing the split in the first game to ending the game with a 237, I believe. John Ramos is up. He throws a split, but it's not impossible to pick up. He's going to potentially have to throw his ball like he's throwing at a 10-pin. At this point, nerves should not be in the play. There you go. He throws his ball. Looks good. At least he got an airborne. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Mr. John Cherry is up. Throws his ball out, come back to the pocket. It's the ugliest strike I've seen, but it is. He did get a strike here.
I've heard more noise at church than at this match.
Here we have Mr. Sean Yotes, from another representative from the Chosen Ones, but he walks off. Joe Valari throws a strike here. He's back on his strike game. Sean Oates, Michael Oates is up, representing Bristol Invasion. Looks like Eric Norfleet's going to be up first. Let's see if he can double up. Throws the ball out, came through the ball pretty nicely, but he does not throw a strike. See if Michael Oakes does. Comes through the ball a little far out, but the messenger comes and cleans up his mess, and he gets another strike. That's 4 strikes in a row for Michael Oakes. So this game is going to be quite interesting. And Eric Norfleet got lucky by picking up his spare. Looked like it had went past it already, but he's able to come back. Corey Williams starts off the 6th frame with 3 in a row. He's starting to widen the coalition, beginning to widen their lead. As long as they keep closing frames, this game is far from over. All right, John Ramos throws a strike here in the 6th frame. He's trying to get back on, set a chance for his team. Here we have Miss Monique here from Coalition. Thank you for coming over to speak to the people, Monique. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I think my team has finally woken up. We usually are late to the party, but we always show up. So I think these next 2 games is going to be really big for us. I think we all here finally, and hopefully we jump up. Really.
That's right. Currently, you guys are in what, 6th or 7th place?
I believe so, but the last match we went into against a tough team. We took 32 out of 40, so I think we could potentially get at least 30.
So it proves that you have the talent to do so, correct?
Always have the talent. I just think it's more of us focusing and throwing good balls and actually not getting frustrated when we don't get the pin carry. That, we see that a lot. Cherry throws a ball about 20 miles an hour. Sometimes he doesn't get the carry, but pick up spares. That's the name of the game. Pick up spares.
That's right. Spares keep you in the game, and strikes enable you to potentially win the game.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. So looking at this scratch pair, I love your lineup in terms of Corey Williams, Brian Cherry, and Eric Norfleet. They made a couple mistakes in the first game. Looks like they're back on it. Looks like they've even eaten into the overall total pin count. What do you think is what they need to do in order to win this match, to win their pair?
Like I said, closing frames, make every spare, every makeable spare, even if you split, get the pin count. That's all you need to do. Throw good balls. Don't get too frustrated out there. There's still a lot of frames left.
Okay, well, Coalition unfortunately did not win any games the first game on either pair. You have scratch versus 2nd team handicap, but it looks like they're being way more competitive when, like you said, they're stepping up. So, what's your prediction for this match?
From what I'm looking at, it looks like I'm gonna give it 2. We're gonna take the scratch pair. We're gonna take the first handicap pair. We're still waiting for the the 2nd handicap pair to kind of get going, but. Like I said, I think we just kind of wake up a little bit later, but we always come out strong. So I have no problem with us winning the 2nd game and 3rd game and fight for total pins overall.
And what I would say to this is that sometimes teams need time to grow and to develop their chemistry and work together. But in doing so, they begin to develop a level of confidence, which makes them even better to beat strong. That's how you make your division stronger. In terms of next year, do you see Coalition getting even stronger?
Yes, we have really strong bowlers. We're going to have them out there. I think that the bowlers that we have are up and coming. I think we have really molded them, so they will be a force to be reckoned with. I think y'all should keep a lookout for Coalition. We will be out at least in the top 3, I want to say, next year.
There you have it, straight from Monique. Thank you, Miss Monique.
Thank you.
Now John Cherry has a chance to go 3 in a row. Corey Williams to put the pressure on. He has 4 in a row. So now Coalition has actually established themselves and pushing even harder to get the total pin count even more in this second game. So this is real good. Let's see if Mr. Cherry get 3 in a row. Whoa, that's the ugliest strike I've seen yet, Mr. Cherry throw. That's sometime when you have power like that and you throw the ball like that, power extreme. Eric Norfleet is up for a double if he throws a strike here. He can widen the lead for Coalition at this point, even though if Oaks throws a strike here, they can go up and add additional 10 on top of it. And Eric Norfleet throws a strike. They're up by 74 in this game so far, but it can go down to 44 if Mr. Oaks throws a strike here. Let's see what he does. Mr. Oates throws a strike. He has 6 in a row. At this point, it's going to be a dogfight. Nobody's giving up. Even though Coalition starts off well, they got to finish it too. Corey Williams is up. He can put 5 in a row. Oh, man, he slowed his ball up. And in this house, you cannot slow your ball. He throws a split. That is not what Coalition needs going into the last 3 frames. So the question becomes now is, can they finish the shot? Can Corey Williams pick up this split? And John Ramos throws his strike in the 8th frame. He still throws 3 in a row. Corey Williams gets the ball out. Almost picks that up. Almost picks that 7-pin up. Unfortunately, Corey Williams has a split now going into the 9th frame. Doesn't mean that it's impossible for Coalition to keep their strike game up, but they're going to have to continue to throw better and better in the last 2 frames.
Your ex-teammate Steve Rose on the front 9. We got 300 alert at Laurel. Let them know the 40 piece is still in order.
That's live from Alphonse. Is a fact. John Cherry can throw 4 in a row. And he does. So he's putting more and more pressure on Bristol Invasion. And they're trying to, Coalition is trying to take back the total pin count in the second game altogether. They're going to have to do it as a team. It's not impossible. Joe Valeri picks up his spare. He's not having as good of a game that he had in the first game. But who's counting? Eric Norfleet here needs to hold up his leadoff man since he had a split. Eric Norfleet can actually throw 3 in a row. He can match the 30 points that Mr. Michael Oates can put on. That's it. Comes out the ball good. Leaves a ringing 10-pin. I believe this time he's going to pick that up. He's going to pick that 10-pin up. Got to think positively out here. Let's see if Michael Oates if he can actually put even more pressure on Coalition and get his team back in the and he throws a strike. So that's 7 in a row for Michael Oates. That young fella just doesn't miss. It's a very important spare right here for Eric Norfleet. You don't want to have 2 opens going into the last 2 frames. Throw the ball, he picks up the spare. Positive reinforcement, positive thinking. That was a lot of pressure, and he came through with the pressure. All right, Corey Williams is up. He throws his ball out and in. He throws a ringing 10-pin, unfortunately. Corey Williams picks up his 10-pin. So Coalition is still putting on some pressure. Now John Ramos is up. If he throws a strike here, he can close that lead even more. It puts even more pressure on Coalition to actually finish strong here. You don't want to have any opens. Now let's see what John Ramos does. He needs this 4 in a row. Throws the ball out, come back nicely. That's 4 in a row. He followed through nicely, came through, easy. He has a mean mug face on, then he put his nice face on. And Joe Valeri is not having as good of a game this second game like he had in the first game. He leaves the door open for Coalition to come back and steal this pair 8-2. Brian Cherry's up. Mr. Throw the ball 20 miles an hour. Gets the ball out. And he throws a strike there. That's a big 5 in a row there. For Brian Cherry, that's very important. He's having a much better game than he had the first game. Not that he had a bad game the first game. Joe Valeri throws his ball and leaves a ringing 10-pin. Anybody susceptible missing that 10-pin? Coalition gets this last. Joe Valeri misses his easy 10-pin. Unfortunately, especially be on a scratch pair, going into the 10th frame. Joe Valeri can go out with only a 182. That enables or helps Coalition in the sense that as long as Norfleet doesn't have an open or from a split, Coalition can actually charge harder into winning their first game of the match on all 3 pairs. Norfleet gets the ball out, and he throws a strike, a very important strike at this point. They want to make sure that they win this game, so it's going to take a hard charge at the end. Michael Oates throws his ball out, and he gets a strike. Mike has 8 in a row. This young fellow is very talented. Mike Oates finished his first game with a 256 because he made a couple of errors going into the 10th frame. Now, once again, he's knocking on the door. I see why he's a legitimate 240 average bowler here. Corey Williams throws his first ball in the 10th frame, and he throws a strike. Every strike means something at this point. If John Ramos throws a strike here, he'll enable Bristol Invasion only to be down by 20 points. That's huge. And he throws a strike. So strike for strike, you're going to need both teams to strike out. Coalition is a lot. Unfortunately, pressure is important as a part of the game. But Corey Williams is going to have to strike out here just to maintain their lead. Corey Williams throws the second ball. And unfortunately, he does not strike. He threw the ball too hard that time. Went past the head pin. Okay, and John Ramos is off his strike game too. He threw a split the second ball. It's not as put. His first ball was the most important one. At this point, it's very important that Brian Cherry, that puts even more pressure on Brian Cherry. So let me see. Corey Williams goes out with a 214 game. Brian Cherry had a 214 in his first game. John Ramos had a 237 his first game. Unfortunately, he won't be having that this game. John Ramos goes out with a 212. So Corey Williams defeats head-to-head John Ramos 214 to 212. Brian Cherry's having a field day with Mr. Joe Valari. But in order for the team to win, they're going to have to finish what they started. So with the completion of the first two bowlers on both teams, John Cherry throws a strike here, very important, puts them out with a better lead. And at this point, Joe Valari just needs to stop the bleeding at this point because anything can happen between the two anchormen. See if Joe Valari can throw a strike here. And he does. He maintains the status quo. 604 to 638. But John Cherry, in order to give his team an opportunity to win, he's going to have to strike out. Let's see what John Cherry does here. It's a very important shot here. I mean, Brian Cherry. Now he throws the ball, he can go out with 268. Joe Valari throws a spare, so he can only go out with a 172. That's not a good thing for him. Brian Cherry himself goes out with a 268 after throwing. That young man has that kind of talent. He can be up one game, down the next, but he go right back up. So far, going into the anchorman, let's see what they can do. See who can finish. It's not over yet, and Coalition needs to break into that lead even more. But with the way Mr. Michael Oakes is bowling, it's going to be very difficult. Every pin counts, so Joe Valari has to pick up this spare here. What in the world did happen right there? He wasn't even close to the 7-pin. Maybe he's testing his ball for the next game. Okay, Eric Norfleet is up. Mr. Mike Oates is being very generous by allowing him to go first. Sometimes that can add a little pressure too. And unfortunately, Eric Norfleet threw the ball a little slow there. It came up a little light. And he leaves the 9-pin. Mr. Mike Oates throws his first ball, and he throws a strike. Even though it looks like Coalition to win, they just won't win as big as we thought they were. See if Norfleet can pick up the spare here. And he does. So Eric Norfleet can go out with a 203. Sometimes it's just a matter of how your team bowls. Once again, it's a team effort. Okay, Mr. Oates can go out with a 290 if he throws his last and final ball. Aaron Norfleet can go out with a 205 if he strikes here. Eric Norfleet strikes, goes out with a 205. Mr. Michael Oates can go over 290, but unfortunately that 290 cannot help Bristol Invasion to win this game. That's the most important thing, that you win as a team. And he does, goes out with a 290. What a display. Mr. Michael Oates is on pace to actually get a 800 series if he throws 260 or better. He technically needed 265 in order to win, in order to get his 800 series. So it looks like after two games on the scratch pair and on the first team handicap, both teams have won a game. Unfortunately, there was a mishap on the second team handicap where the teams had to wait because there was a problem with the lanes. So the second team handicap for both teams are a little bit behind. And it looks like here on the scratch pair, Corey Williams starts off. He made a ball change, and he throws a strike. Here we have Big Tommy back. Tommy, just give you an update, sir. Coalition won on the scratch pair as well as on the first team handicap. So are you guys still? They lost. So now you guys still in the lead of the overall totals because you guys didn't lose 2 games. So you did lose. So you tell Alphonse, don't come back down here no more.
Well, you know, it's hard to 40-piece a team in the UBA. You know that.
Oh, I know that. Trust me, I know.
It happens, but hey, it's hard. It's hard because teams can get hot. So I mean, hey, what can you do? This is just a run to the playoffs, and actually they're using their best squad and they put it in every time. Talking about Bristol, it's only a matter of time before they fizzle out. They will fizzle out.
Well, I don't know if this is Bristol Invasion's best team because I don't see some of their other bowlers out there. But right now they've lost 2 games, one on the scratch pair, one on the first team handicap, and unfortunately they're winning on the second team handicap. So it's not over.
This is the same squad that they had when they beat us. Just about one person different. They stink.
Yeah, but and
they took advantage of it.
But you know as well as I do, it's the lineup that you put out. You can't say that it's the C, A, B, C, or D. At that moment in time, it's the A team because they're the ones that's out there.
No. Sometimes you got to give people a shot to try to prove themselves. And now when we getting down to the end of the season, the heck with that. A teams all the way, baby.
Well, right now it's.
You know that as much as I do.
I agree with you, but sometimes you can still give people an opportunity.
Oh, not toward the end. Because regardless of what we say, UBA is fun. It's fun to do. But the overall thing about this and every other league you bowl in is about the cash you bring in.
You are correct. You are correct. So now the question is going to be now is who's going to finish on top in the PA North Division? And I'm assuming that you're predicting that chosen ones of all teams. Now, last year, where did y'all finish at last year, Tommy?
Last 2 years, last.
Say that again, sir.
LAST.
You finished what?
LAST.
What does that spell, Tommy?
Last.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. But now you guys have a potential to go from last to what?
Last to first.
Okay, you only one point off. So that see today could actually make a big difference in terms of overall team performance. Now the thing is, Bristol Invasion is bowling the sixth or seventh best team in the division at Bowling Coalition.
Please. Please. Come on, please. Please. They got a real test coming up next match, though. They have a real test coming up.
In any division, the most important thing is to win points. If you do not win the points, there's no way in the world that you can possibly be on top. So each game matters going down the pike. Do you agree?
Yeah, but some teams are easier to face than others.
But you got to be able to take advantage of it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But they got a test coming up next shortstop, though.
Now, Hell Yeah was at the top, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
Where did they finish last year?
I think they finished second.
Yeah, I think they were second, too. So for you guys to be putting up a 40-piece, that's excellent.
We're not putting up a 40-piece now. Well, we lost to scratch. So the most we can get 38-2.
Okay, 38. Even if you get 38, that's still meaningful because it potentially could put you guys back in the lead in terms of pin count.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, I want to see them. This is the team I want to see.
Oh, you starting something now?
Every single time. They know me. I know them. Yes, I want to see them. I went in the last match. You want to bowl? Let's bowl. And I'm coming to put foot to ass.
Well, you heard it from Big Tommy. I don't know if Big Tommy know what he really saying, but.
Oh, yes, I do. And they know. I said it last time to them. I'm not afraid of nobody in the UBA. You either bowl good or you don't bowl good at all. Depends on where you go, how you're hitting. You got to know how to adjust.
I wholeheartedly agree, and that's where talking to your teammates is a big thing. Let's see what Mr. Brian Cherry does on this ball here.
But the thing is, everybody don't know how to adjust. Everybody don't know how to get soft with the hand. They have one style. Everybody don't know how to move deeper. Everybody don't know when the ball changes. So, yeah.
I agree with you, Tommy. You just mentioned a lot of things that make a difference in your scratch pair and things of that nature. So,
like what's her name? Icebox. Last shortstop when she faced, she bowled 731. No, it was way above her head. No, she was way above her head, but it happens. Look what she's doing today.
Well, Tommy, in all fairness, this is not one of your better houses either. Are you correct?
I averaged 730. I mean, I averaged 230 here this year.
Where? What night?
When I sub on Wednesday, I averaged 230.
Okay. I ain't got to bet you. I expect you, but last year you was having some real trouble here.
Well, the last couple years, but then, like I said, what did I learn? What didn't I do? Once I got softer with my hand, it was easy.
Well, I will say this much. Going into the playoffs is going to be quite interesting to see how both teams perform overall. And Joe, what's his name?
Oh, my God, he couldn't miss.
Michael Oakes, that young fella is talented.
Yes.
Now, he could be a problem now. Let me ask you a question. Does Chosen Ones have anybody that can match his energy?
Yeah.
Who might that be, sir?
Depends on who. I mean, Timmy.
Just give me one.
Timmy Miko. If I rile Rob up, he can do it.
Who?
Rob. Rob actually stuck with him last tour.
Rob is a good bowler, but what happened to Evan?
Evan? Yeah, Evan's one of our bowlers, and actually
Evan is a two-handed bowler who, when he's on, he can match anybody's energy.
And actually, we got a college cat that's coming out real soon that hasn't bowled. Oh, God, we got to get him in matches because you got to have 9 matches.
You got to have 9 games. That's correct.
He'll probably be in the last couple just to get him games.
They say you can have at least two season tour matches in a UBA event. So you're going to have to get him acclimated very quickly. It's going to be very interesting to see who are you referring to, sir?
I don't know. Hey, Alphonse, what's that college cat name? Kendall.
Kendall Battle's a good bowler. John Ramos just shot him leaving the ring in 7-pin. Let's see if Brian Cherry, he's up for Coalition. Coalition won the last game. They just have to keep it up. They have to keep that pressure up on them.
Together, baby.
Now all of a sudden, Tommy rooting for him. John Ramos picks up the 7-pin. We want to thank Big Tommy for his contribution to the broadcast.
No one likes to show off.
Let's see if Brian Cherry can actually throw another strike here. Oh, he leaves a baby split. I want, 310, thank you, sir. I want to thank my assistant here, Mr. Kevin Kennelly here. He's an outstanding gentleman. We've known him for how long now, sir? A good minute, yes. He's a strong competitive bowler in his own right. Well, that's the good thing about transition. Sometimes Mr. Brian Cherry has to not put so much hand in the ball and throwing the ball so hard. This is where bowling begins to really rear its ugly head, unfortunately. Now, Joe Valeri missed the 10-pin the last time. Let's see if he can pick, well, what's that, 6-pin. He should be able to pick that up. Ooh, he just missed the 6-pin. This done got very interesting. Both middlemen missed their spare. One was more difficult than the other, but I guess Joe Valeri wanted to stay with Brian Cherry. All right, Eric Norfleet is up. He threw a strike on this lane the last time. Let's see if he does this time. Keeps the ball inside, lets the ball come through, and he has a ringing 10-pin. There's somebody in front of me, so I'm trying to look around them, so excuse my mistakes here. Mike Oates throws his ball. Ooh. Mr. Oates leaves the 9-pin up. Eric Northey throws at the 10-pin. He picks that up, so it looks like he's correct those issues from before. Mr. Michael Oates, Mr. Machine, as he should make his nickname. That young fella should be on the UBA WCS heavyweight champion list at this point. He's a up-and-coming bowler. He's going to be a problem. I don't care who he's up against. Okay, John Ramos is up. He's 1 out of 3 in terms of strikes in the first 3 frames. Let's see what he does here. If Bristol Invasion is going to win this game here, he needs to start striking. Comes through the ball nicely. Good form. Unfortunately, balled his hand across his body ever so slightly. Sometimes that can happen if you go into the line too quickly. Corey Williams is up. He throws his ball out, plays it tight, and he throws a strike there. So Corey Williams doubles up in the 4th frame. He's putting more and more pressure on Bristol Invasion there in first place. But when you're in first place, everybody, there's a target on your back. Everybody's coming after you. John Ramos picks up his spare. See what kind of adventure Mr. Brian Cherry is going to have now. He shot a 268 the last game, but the problem here is that the lanes are breaking down. Now you have to play according to the transition. He throws the ball out, and he throws a crazy-looking strike, but it's still a strike. Nobody said it had to be pretty. All right, once again, you have to play with the transition. Looks like Joe Valeris, he said he has to pick this up if he's going to give he's going to make it harder for his anchor man. That's 2 opens in a row versus one open for Coalition. At this point, he's getting beat down by his opponent there, Mr. Brian Cherry. Let's see if Eric Norfleet can actually pull his team up and make it so that they can actually pull ahead now in the 5th frame. This is huge for Coalition at this point. I call Eric Norfleet one of the ultimate competitors, and he throws a strike there, a much-needed strike, or else he would have been hung. Eric Norfleet looks back. He said, hey, I got that strike. Yes, you did, kind sir. See Mr. Brian Oakes does here. I mean, Mr. Michael Oakes does here. He throws a strike like a machine he is. I would love to see some people compete against each other at this point. Michael Oakes, Ace Austin, Jimmy Johnson, some of the top-notch bowlers in Rob Smith, some of the top bowlers in the whole all of Pennsylvania in terms of who's the best. We ought to have a tournament about that. That sounds like a good tournament. Corey Williams goes up, throws a strike there. See, I saw that before it happened. He has 3 in a row. John Ramos has only 1 strike through the first 4 frames. It's important that he get on his strike number, or else he might leave that door open for Coalition to come and knock it down. John Ramos comes through the ball, follows through nicely. Ooh, he throws a split. He leaves a 4-6 split. All right, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I was commentating on the scratch pair. Let's look at what's going on the first team handicap. On the first team handicap for Bristol Invasion, we have John Dickel Jr., Emily Gibbons, as well as Kelsey Hackbert. For Coalition, we have Randy Greer, his wife Yvette Greer, and Mr. All-World, Mr. Maurice Johnson. And Maurice throws 3 in a row. All right, this is a better game than but actually they're tied 1-1. Looks like Coalition is down in terms of total pins. But at this point, they're trying to make it so they win 2 games. Even if they lose, they'll win 4 points. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything goes from here. Randy Greer throws his ball. 2 7-pin. Randy Greer leads at 2-7 at this point. He's a lefty. That's a baby split, so he should be able to pick that up. Mr. John Dickel's waiting his turn to bowl, a.k.a. the mechanic. He's a mechanic up at Bristol Lanes. Bolero Bristol Lanes, I'm sorry. Randy Greer throws his ball, and he does not pick it. He brought his hand across his body. He should have moved more to his right and threw it across. He would have got both of them. But that's one to grow on. Everybody's not interested in making babies these days. At least not on the lanes. Yvette Greer Yvette Greer is up, a.k.a. Scrub Lights. And at this point, she's having a clean game right now. And she throws, ooh, wow. She leads the 8-pin. She has a clean game going, so that's good. Now she's up against Emily Gibbons, a strong competitor in her own right, a.k.a. Icebox. And she throws a strike. So Emily is back-to-back strikes after missing a single pin. This is what being a competitor is all about. Okay, looks like the 8-pin has to be reset for Yvette. Now we're down here to Kelsey. She averages 222. Emily averages 221, and John Dickel averages 225. So the women are definitely holding their own in bowling. Kelsey is up. Let's see if she can put 3 in a row. Kelsey smoothly comes out the ball. Ooh, she almost left a split. She leads a 4-7. Yeah, people are blocking our way. It's hard on a brother when you're visually challenged. Kelsey picks up her spare. Still waiting for Yvette for the 8-pin to be reset on lane 9. Right now, it looks like Coalition is doing well on the first team handicap, which is important for them in terms of winning the match itself. They're winning the total pin count as well, so on the first team handicap. So this could be a really important upset for Coalition in terms of them getting 10 to 12 points in this match. So if they win this pair, they'll win 8-2. Coalition scratch pair is close to winning in terms of total pins on the scratch pair. So they could end up winning 8, and 8 is 16, and lose 24-16 in reference to the total pin count. So it's not an impossible thing for Coalition to start winning these matches here. They've shown that they can beat the better teams. They beat South Jersey Strike Force last match 32-8. So they're making some headway. It shows that they have some talent, and they just have to gel and work together more. So anything is possible going forward. That's on the scratch pair, by the way. Right now, while there's intermission, I'm commentating on the scratch pair. Brian Cherry is up, 7th frame, coming off of a spare. He's throwing the ball too hard. He needs to let the ball relax a little bit and not try to force it with so much hand coming back into the pocket. John Ramos throws at the 10 pin, and he picks that up. That's in his wheelhouse, so he should do that with no problem. Joe Valeri has now all of a sudden gotten it together on the scratch pair. He has 3 in a row. Unfortunately, all of a sudden now, Brian Cherry is not throwing strikes like he wasn't getting part of the game. So it's any person's game at this point in terms of Coalition versus Bristol Invasion on the scratch pair. Back on first team handicap. We have Maurice Johnson up. He's waiting for his teammate Eric Norfeet to see what he does in this 7th frame. Eric Norfeet throws his ball, and he throws a strike there. Wasn't the prettiest strike, but he got a strike there. And unfortunately, Mr. Michael Oakes throws another split. So this Coalition taking the total pin count is definitely in play at this point in time on the scratch pair. Maurice Johnson is up. He throws his ball. He threw the ball out a little bit too far to the right. And right now, this could get very interesting. Maurice Johnson just has to pick up his pair. Coalition on the first team handicap went from being down to up. And right now, they could win total pins on the first team handicap and on the scratch pair. Coalition just has to finish the job. This is as far as I'm concerned, an upset because you have a team here who's battling it out when everybody thought that they were just going to destroy Coalition. Coalition said, "No, we're here. We're bowling. We're going to win this game." So on the first team handicap, Coalition has said, "Hold the phone. We're coming." It lets you know that no matter how big or strong a team may be, it's always important to make sure that you show up. Okay, on the first team handicap, we have here, leading off is once again the mechanic, John Dickel versus Randy Greer. Randy Greer is up. He had to split his last frame. He softly comes out the ball. And Randy throws a strike there. That's an important strike for Coalition at this point. Let's see if his wife can match the energy. She does not have an open at all in this game. And at this point, it's very important that she continues to keep a clean game. John Dickel is up. He throws the ball. And he gets an ugly strike. We'll give him that. Let's see what the scrub life does. Ball goes out, comes back in, and she throws a strike. Her teammates are back here rooting for her. She still maintains a clean game. Here we have Mr. Maurice Johnson up after he had 3 in a row. He had a spare. So now it's not how you start, but how you finish. It's important that Coalition, if they're going to maintain their overall team total lead, they're going to have to finish the game. They're going to have to strike out. Emily Gibbons is off her strike game right now, and so she's given. Let's see if Maurice Johnson throws a strike here, and he does. So everybody on Coalition on the first team handicap has thrown a strike in the 7th frame. See Emily pick up her spare, easy spare here. We're just waiting for Kelsey to go up and throw her ball, so she can complete the 7th frame for Bristol Invasion. Looks like it's going to be a lot of 10-pin practice soon. Kelsey just throws a strike there, so she matches the energy that Maurice Johnson does. So right now it's a dogfight, not on the first team handicap, but on the scratch pair. With Eric Norfleet missing his 10-pin, unfortunately, that opens the door for Bristol Invasion to do what they got to do. Bristol Invasion now is set up to come back and take the total pin count on the scratch pair. The mechanic throws his ball. Uh-oh, he leaves a baby split. He leaves his 310. He wasn't faced with this, but if this will be a crucial miss for him if he does not pick this up. It's not impossible, but he'd make it very, very near impossible for the Bristol Invasion to come back and win on that first team handicap. As long as Coalition doesn't have a meltdown. Mechanic throws his ball. Let's see if he picks up a baby. And he does. Randy Greer throws his ball for Coalition, and he throws a strike. So Randy Greer is back-to-back strikes. They're putting even more pressure on Bristol Invasion on the first team handicap. It's going to be important at this point for them to finish the game strong. You want to get as many points as you possibly can. Right now, at this point, if Coalition can hold on the first team handicap, they would have won 8 points, and in winning 8 points, they enable their team to at least come away with 12 points. Against the team, the leading team in your division, that's a big, huge benefit at this point for them. That makes something promising for your team. And Yvette comes back with a double. So she says, I'm going to match my husband with the double. He's not going to outdo me. I'm beating him in total pins right now. So I see what she's doing. Let's see if Maurice Johnson can finish what he started. He started off strong. Now he has to finish strong. Maurice Johnson is up. Throws his ball. Uh-oh. Well, at least he didn't get a split. He didn't get his ball out, so he held onto the ball a little bit too long, brought his hand a little bit away from his mark. He went from potentially having a split to leaving the 3-6-10. And Miss Kelsey comes back and throws a strike, so she doubles up. She does what Maurice Johnson did not do that time. But both teams are doing very well going into the ninth frame. This is a setup frame. Anything can happen at this point. Maurice Johnson, unfortunately, he chops. Maurice Johnson is chopping wood. So whatever it is that's causing him to bring his hand across his body, it might be his first step. Who knows? At this point, Coalition is winning on the first team handicap. They have a nice commanding lead, but you don't want to give it up. You don't want to fall asleep and then mess it up. Randy Greer throws his ball, but he didn't follow through. Unfortunately, he gets a 9 count, which is still good. He leaves a 9 count. At this point, it's anybody's game. The mechanic throws a strike in the 9th frame. 9th frame is your setup frame. If Randy Greer had thrown a strike in that 9th frame, he would undoubtedly enable his team to walk away with this game. Right now, the game is not out of reach, but remember that Maurice Johnson didn't pick up. He chopped in the 8th frame. Randy Greer picks up his spare. Once again, as long as you don't fall apart, you should be able to finish a strong game. Kelsey. Emily throws her strike in the 9th frame. It's not over, ladies and gentlemen. The fat lady is warming up, but this game is not over by far. Yvette Greer throws her ball. She throws a 9 count, leaves a 10 pin. Looks like everybody bringing their hand across their body. I'm not understanding that. Kelsey throws her ball. She throws a strike. That's 3 in a row. Like I said, it's not how you start, but how you finish. The game is not over. Kelsey sets herself up real nicely. She could potentially go out with a 238. She's been bowling very, very consistent. Let's see if Yvette, it's very important she picks up this spare, and it goes right into the gutter. She just opened the door. Potentially, Coalition could lose this game. Potentially. It's not likely, but potentially it could happen. Maurice Johnson throws his ball. It's way out on the outside. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to be around mark number 7 or 8, not around 3 and 4. Damn right. Good series, Corey. Maurice Johnson picks up his spare. So at this point, Coalition is still up in the game as well as up in total pins on the first team handicap, but the game is not over. And it's not over until the fat lady sing at this point. They're up by 61 points at this point. So it's going to be how you finish. Coalition has to finish strong on the first team handicap in order to get the job done. Randy Greer throws his ball with a little bit more authority. He leaves the 7 pin. Let's see, this is a big pickup for Randy Greer at this point if he's going to enable his team to walk away with a win and go 8-2 on it. He looks like he throws a good ball for the 7 pin. He threw it with no problem. That's a big pickup for Randy Greer. He enables Coalition to get at least 10 more points on that first team handicap. This is a good matchup for Coalition. If everything remains the same, Coalition will at least win 12 points, which is huge against the #1 team in your division. They'll lose 28-12, but the big part is they have something to build off of. Randy Garrett throws his second ball. Leaves a 7-pin. All right. And back to the final ball for the scratch pair. Mr. Oaks, though, with no effort, goes out with a 222 for Bristol Invasion. Mr.
What's your middle pair doing?
Eric Norfrey throws his final ball, and they win their pair. Came short, a little bit short on the total pins, but they did a good job. So Bristol Invasion on the scratch pair wins 6-4. Eric Norfleet goes out with a 214. Brian Cherry goes out with a 199. So it was a good matchup. Total pins for the scratch pair for Coalition is 2,010. And for Bristol Invasion is 2046. So they only took total pins by 36 sticks. That's a matter of a pickup of 2 spares. Anything could have happened. It could have went one way or the other. Coalition was lined up on the scratch pair to take total pins. Unfortunately, they did not strike when they needed to. Right now, we're back on the first team handicap. First team handicap, and Emily Gibbons just missed a spare. That was a crucial. They needed to pick. They needed her to pick that up in order to potentially win the game. Now it's going to come down to the 2 anchor persons. Yeah, Maurice Johnson throwing the ball out, and he throws a crazy-looking strike. He gets a strike, but Lord have mercy. He brought his hand across his body just a little bit, but it was enough to get a strike here. Kelsey can throw her ball, and she could potentially get 30 here. And she gets a strike. So it's important that at least Maurice Johnson mark here, and then Coalition will win on this pair here. Let's see what he does. And he throws a strike with exclamation point, and that's the way his team said he should be throwing the ball. So now it looks like here a Coalition will take 8 points on the first team handicap. Their scratch pair took 4. They fell short by 36 in terms of total pins. And unfortunately on the second team handicap, they're getting annihilated. But hey, what can you say? Kelsey knows that the game is over. She goes out with a 222. Unfortunately, Coalition didn't perform on the second team handicap, but they actually gave it a strong, very strong effort on the scratch pair. I'm sorry, Kelsey threw a 7 count. Now she goes to pick up her 3. She picks up 2. So Kelsey goes out with a 224. Not enough to win the game. And we're just going to finish up here on the second team handicap after the cameraman gets everything situated. Unfortunately, this match is over. It's just a matter of who's going to win the last game between Coalition and Bristol Invasion. Right now, Bristol Invasion is winning, but it's not impossible for Coalition to actually come out with 14 points. So right now, Wanda Williams has an 8 count. She has a 6'10" standing up, and she picks that up. She normally doesn't have an issue picking that up, and she does. So right now on the second team handicap, Coalition is down by 33 points, 33 sticks. See Mr. Rubin, he's actually throwing his first ball. He left a 9 count, and he misses the easy 7-pin for a right-hander. So nothing is a gimme here. He just opened the door for Melanie Tingle to pull her team back into the match and maybe even win the game, potentially. Melanie Tingle comes out through the ball, and she leaves the 8 count. She needs a 2 count. She almost had a split, but that 10-pin fell. So Joseph is up for Bristol Invasion. He throws the ball nicely, and he leaves a 4 count. So it looks like people are underestimating the lanes here at Laurel Lanes, unfortunately. Melanie Tingle comes out, and she picks up her spare. This could get very interesting for Coalition at this point. They can't win. There's no way in the world they can win total pins, but they can win this game. They can win this game. Bristol Invasion does not want to continue to give up more points. Why? Because they're at the top through today, and their anchorman Joe does pick up the spare there. And in them trying to make their run for the playoffs, you don't want to drop out of the top 3. Andre Gardner throws his ball. He throws a strike. So he's working on a double going into the 8th frame. So this is looking better and better for Coalition in terms of them taking over the lead in the 8th frame. Once again, it's not how you start, but how you finish. I know this second pair is actually experiencing a lot of pressure, because their most important thing to them is that they want to make sure that they finish strong and take as many points from the leading team in their division as much as possible. So the question is going to become, how do you finish the match here? Okay, Wanda Williams picked up her spare in the 10th frame, in the 8th frame. So once again, Coalition is up 471 to 4. Well, they're down 471 to 483. But with the miss from Mr. Rubin in the 7th frame, and now he has a baby split in the 8th, anything is possible. Okay, so the second bowler here for Miss Melanie Tingle, she throws a strike, a much-needed strike. Let's see if Rubin can pick up this spare. And he does it, so he leaves the door open even more for Coalition to come back and win this game, which Coalition can lose the match 26-14, which is big because they just beat a strong team in their division last time. Andre Gardner throws 3 in a row, so that matches what Mr. Rob is doing. So now it's going to be very important going into the 9th frame. Who sets it up? Who's going to finish the match? Right now, unfortunately, Dave Rubin is falling apart. He looked like he's ready for a ham sandwich, but that's not going to help him at this point. Oh, baby, the anchor man threw a split. Nobody expected Joe to do that. He's had a clean game up to this point in time. He left 4, which is one of the worst things you can actually throw at this point. Okay, leadoff man. Mr. Robbins threw a strike there for his ninth frame. And they're anchor man for Bristol Invasion. So now in the 8th frame, Bristol Invasion has 2 opens, with Coalition going into the 9th frame has none, no opens. So it's important that they continue to fire. They have the potential to take the ninth, to win the ninth, to take the lead in the 9th frame. At this point, it's going to be very important to see if they can just close the frame or take advantage of those strikes. Andre Gardner is matching what Rob is doing. But now Andre Gardner in the 9th frame has a potential to go 4 in a row instead of 3 in a row. Wanda Williams throws her first ball. She throws a strike. She says, I mean business this game. Those 14 points could mean a lot in terms of standing because it's very tight at the top, first three. And Mr. Rubin finds a strike. He's wringing his hand like he won the lottery. Let's see what Melanie Tingle does here. She's coming off of a strike here. A double would be huge going into the 10th frame. Melanie Tingle gets a strike a different kind of way, but she strikes anyway. Yeah, the other way then. All right, let's see if Joseph can come back and actually salvage what his team is doing in the 9th frame here. Everybody has thrown a strike here. He throws a strike here, so that's pretty good for them. Andre Gardner throws his next ball. He throws a strike. That's 4 in a row. So now going into the 10th frame, looks like here Coalition has a strong chance of winning this match here. They took the lead in the 9th frame. They capitalized off of the mistakes made by Bristol Invasion in the 8th frame with those 2 splits. Let's see how this going down the pike, see who finished the match strong. Let's see if Coalition can win at least 1 game on the second team handicap. Wanda Williams gets her first ball out, and she throws a strike. She's a very competitive woman. She's beaten me a couple of times. Let's see if AKA Angry can throw his strike ball. Comes out the ball nicely, and he throws a strike. Wanda Williams can go out with a 215 if she strikes out. And Angry can go out with a 242. Let's see who can finish it up strongly. Is anybody's game, is within, is very close. Nobody's just walking away with anything. Coalition's going to have to earn it. Wanda Williams gets set. She throws a good ball. She strikes there. That's a big strike. She maintains the lead for Coalition. Let's see if Angry can match the energy there. Comes out nicely. Oh, but he threw it too slow. Throws a split. Angry throws a split, unfortunately. Wanda Williams has a chance to go out with a 215 with a strike here. There's no moral victories in bowling, but it shows the level of competitiveness and grit that this team has. And even though they didn't win the match, they still were very competitive in this match. Wanda Williams comes through the ball. She gets 9. Wanda Williams goes out with a 214. Congratulations, Wanda Williams. Angry picks up 1 out of potential 5 points, so he goes out with a 223. More victories are none, but Coalition looking very well with Melanie Tingle on a double. And and Dave Rubin going out for. Melly Tingle leads us ringing 10 pin. Dave Rubin throws his ball, leads a single pin. Melly Tingle throws her ball, and she picks up that 10 pin. She rolled that one board all the way down there. Very good pickup, much needed. You don't want to give Bristol Invasion any chance of getting back into this match. Melly Tingle throws her last ball. She can go out with a 192. 7 counts. She goes out 189. Mr. Rubin goes out with a strike, so he goes out with a 161. Melly Tingle got the best of him that time. And right now, Andre Gardner can finish a clean game. He has 4 in a row. See if he can make it 5. Comes through the ball nicely. He shot another ugly strike. At this point, Andre Gardner can go out with his 248. See if Joseph does. He throws a split. Unfortunately, it took Coalition a little bit too long on the 17 handicap to get it together. But they made it definitely a formidable game this last game. Andre Gardner popped up a little bit on that one, so he could potentially go out with a 236. And the match is over. Coalition wins on the 17 handicap. So, looks like here. We want to thank everybody for watching here at Laurel Lanes, Coalition versus Bristol Invasion. Bristol Invasion, unfortunately, did not win the match definitively. I mean, they won the match, but they didn't destroy this team, which they thought they could. They won, at this point, Coalition won 14 points, so Bristol Invasion got 26 points, 26 to 14, Bristol Invasion. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. UBA all day.